So Manon's Law and Doomsday Machine in a partnership with Vervaeke YouTube channel and Method to Infinity web scene has the honor to interview the Antichrist. So thanks for being here, Roberto.
No problem.
And my first question is, from psychology studies to extreme black metal. So could you explain us the path you gone through, possibly giving up from giving patients assistance in a medical room to work with psychological issues on Die Antichrist lyrics?
Sure. What it all comes down to is the message of black metal in general. It's the tragic existence. We're here. We didn't ask to be here. None of us did. We just were born, and this is the life that we have to give. So it's all about making it count, making the one chance that we have mean something to each and every one of us. What one person may be fulfilled by, another person may think that's preposterous and may be fulfilled by something else. But when it comes to the psychological studies, I think it comes down to the awareness that each person has in themselves, what their relation to nature is, what their relationship to their existence is, and how we understand that and grow as individuals, what we think the perfect us is, not necessarily a cookie cutter, but who we think we're supposed to be, and expand on that. And that's our canvas, as artists, is to expand who we are. And that's why it kind of shifted to, we've always been into black metal, we've always been into that, and that's just part of the psychological aspect of black metal. Some of the things that, religious indoctrines, sociology, the economic issues that we run into, and being just aware of it and conscious and saying, you know what, maybe I do make shitty decisions, but I at least accept that that's who I am, and I can move forward with that and be that. So that's how those kind of two things come together for us.
All right. And how did the idea of using Nietzsche's book, The Antichrist, as part of the name for the band?
That one was really interesting. It's more of a question for our lead singer, Andres. But the close relationship I have with him, and the things that we've talked about together, it's the same thing. It's when we were very young and starting to question and growing up into the people that we were supposed to be or who we thought we needed to be. Those kind of works are very introspective, and they make you question who we are internally and how that relates to the world externally. And again, what it comes down to is what one person may find sane, another person may find insane, and what vice versa. It's all about the perspective of the objective observer. And so that's why that's a huge inspiration for our works. For songs like, for example, Where Is Your God? It's not really a blasphemous song as so much as more of a questioning religious doctrines. It's saying, well, if your God is real and he's all loving, then why does he allow such and such things to happen? You can find the lyrics in YouTube videos and on our web scenes. I won't go too much into it, but that's how those ideas came about. It's the self-reflection, and just being in that young, developing mindset. How we interact with the world around us and the universe around us, so to speak.
And still speaking about Nietzsche, he was diagnosed insane after writing The Antichrist. So what is your personal opinion about it? Do you consider him a genius or a lunatic?
That's a really good question. We haven't been asked that, I don't think, ever, and that's a really good one. It's kind of like our friend Aleister Crowley. We focus a lot on his works as well in the more recent years as we've grown as artists, just because they correlate more with the black magic and things like that. But again, without going into too deep into it, it's hard to say what one person declares insane and another person considers sane. My personal opinion is he was sane, but maybe the rest of us didn't quite understand where he was coming from. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, I understand, of course. Good. So the band moved in 2011 from Colombia to Dallas, Texas. So was this a big step for the band? And I suppose you have more possibilities in the U.S.
Yeah. So when that happened, that's actually when I became a part of the band. Is when the band moved from Colombia. So I'm not an original member. Um, I was drafted in 2011 when Andres moved. Just for pursuit of better opportunities for the band. Unfortunately, it was just him, so he needed to seek out new musicians, new partners in crime, so to speak. Um, and that's when I joined, and I found the rest of the members, not these guys at the time, we've had different lineup changes, trying to find the right puzzle pieces, because once you find the right guys, fortunately for me, I was the first right guy. Then I got our bassist Ben, who's been an intricate part of the whole framework of how we run things, just the way our responsibilities, our objectives with the band. But it's been definitely the biggest leap forward for the band. I think it's opened more opportunities. We've been able to open the market, venture to places that because naturally South America and Central America, where the band is from, a little bit more poverty-stricken. So the marketability is a little bit different. The crowd will show up and they'll be there and they'll give 110%. Financially, it's different when it comes to merchandise sales, record sales, and things like that. So coming to North America to kind of build a stronger foothold financially, for record companies to be interested, et cetera, as the music business is. It was definitely a pivotal point in the career of the band, for sure.
And the right step. Huh? So throwback early years, you covered a song of Massacre from Colombia. So do you still play this kind of song or other old songs, maybe occasionally? And this is Ian's question.
Yeah, no, those are very pivotal type of covers that we have in the band, just because the band is from Colombia. Again, I'm not from Colombia, I'm from Dallas, Texas, but just over the years of working with the band, I've gone to Colombia multiple times. I've met these band members, from Massacre and Guerra Total, and it's a big part of the culture. And the biggest one for me is actually Infernal. I'm not sure if you've heard of that band or not, but just getting to know these guys and realize that these covers aren't just covers for just to have them for brutality. They're a culture of the scene of a time frame in the band's life. When we were growing and expanding and learning. So it's more of a tribute to friendship more than it is a tribute to brutal music, which just is a plus. It's a good thing, but it's more of a celebration of the friendships and the good times and the good memories, because that's all we have in life is our memories.
Yeah, sure. And have you ever played with Apsu? Because they're also from Texas.
Yeah. Actually, that was the first show that Antichrist had in the United States. It was in my neck of the woods. I'm from Dallas, Texas, United States, and I joined the band. I found Ben, our bass player, and then I had a session drummer and a session rhythm guitar player. And the first show on U.S. American soil was in Houston, Texas. It was called Destroying Texas Fest 3 or something like that. It was the annual festival. But Absu was headlining it, followed by Inquisition, followed by us. And that show was just phenomenal. It was my introduction with the band. So it's a really good question, because Absu is a band that I hold so close to my heart, and Inquisition as well. Regardless of all of those controversial things that have happened, those bands they hold a special place in my heart, and it's been such an honor to share the stage with them, of course. And they're in our backyard. I see them on different events that we have, friends of friends' birthdays, and different local bands openings. So we have a very close working relationship with those guys, for sure.
Yeah, cool. And as for the European tour, how has been the feedback of the audience so far? And what's your personal opinion about tonight's concert?
It's definitely different. It's hard to explain the difference, but it's definitely different. Like I said, we're used to the Americas kind of the North, Central, and South American crowds. They're very, we'll say, aggressive when it comes to certain parts and riffs. I mean, the whole place just explodes and people are getting kicked out, and it's just very wild compared to here. But the passion is definitely there. You can see it when you look into people's eyes in the crowd. You know, you can see it. They definitely support when it comes to merchandising. So it's a different experience, but it's one that it's the first couple nights on the tour. I was like, are we not? What's happening? Like, is this what's going on? We're used to the place being on fire by the time we're done. But you know, just talking with the Wolfhard and Karakongra and our tour mates on this tour, they assured us like, no, this is pretty normal. This is actually really good, you know, and it's been a learning experience for sure for our first time in Europe. But it's definitely different, but I definitely enjoy it.
I think maybe this whiteness is
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that you can see. Okay, and suppose you are in a desert island and you don't have internet, no radio, you have only a record player and battery, and you are only allowed to listen to 3 albums. So, which albums would you choose to listen to?
I think the first one would be System of a Down, Toxicity. That record was the reason why I wanted to play guitar at all. The second record would probably be the Abzu record from Absu, ironically. And then the third record would be Infernal Regions into the something Inquisition. I don't know the full name of the record. It's a long title. But that record definitely changed the way I approached guitar for sure. And I mean, I listen to those when I work out. I listen to them just in my office. I listen to them on the road. I mean, I have them saved on my phone. So those are consistent. They're timeless to me. You know, they're always strong.
All right, and to finish our interview, would you like to leave a message to your fans around the world?
I mean, I don't like to hear myself talk too much. So, I mean, thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the support. I mean, it's definitely not gone unnoticed. I can't believe that I'm here. I can't believe we're here as a band. I mean, these are things that we've talked about in the practice room for years and years and years. So the fact that you guys are kind of traveling with us and experiencing this with us as much as we can through social media and interviews like this, I mean, that's all I can say is thank you for everything. And you know, we'll continue to try and bring the best art that we can for you guys.
So thanks again, okay,
Absolutely,
for
thank
being here. Okay, so and that's it. So stay heavy,